Hello and welcome back to my channel, Meandrius Plays. Today is the day. Yes, you see that correctly. It is Timberborn 1.0. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start a new game. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Glad to have you. I'm not really sure what map. I should have really put out a poll in preparation for this. One of the newest things in one of the updates before the release, the automation that I did a showcase on, but also they added metal parts for the Ironteeth, which are like a mid-low tier craftable from scrap item that's unique for Ironteeth. You'll still have metal blocks, but they will be for high-end buildings. So Folktales had their unique resource in paper that could be used to fuel libraries and to make punch cards for their bots. So now Ironteeth have metal parts, which are going to be their unique resource. So with that in mind, I think I still want to play Ironteeth because of that. It's just, as far as a map, again, I don't like huge maps. I don't like small, like the teeniest tiny. I don't know if I want to do that one right now, a diorama. But I kind of want to do one of the new ones. I already, on the experimental branch, I did pressure. So I'm thinking I'm going to try Oasis this time and just see where that goes. If you guys have any other suggestions or something you want to see differently, let me know. I don't want to have too many Timberborn playthroughs going at the same time. I still, I did wrap up my Ironteeth playthrough. I do have to wrap up my Ember Pelts playthrough still. But yeah, just let me know if you guys have any suggestions or things you'd want to see next. Let's get this started. We're going to go on hard, of course. All right, so this is Oasis. So let's do Metal Oasis. Iron? No. Metal. So an Oasis, I think of it as like a sanctuary. Wow, can I spell? Oh, I really hope that's not misspelled. I gotta double check my spelling. That is misspelled. Okay, we have an extra R. There we go. Metallic Sanctuary. Sure. All right, first thing we do, as with any game on here, we pause it. I haven't done a playthrough with either these geothermal fields or the aquifers that these have. That's kind of one of the main things of this map. Our only water source is a water seep that will never get higher than that. So we don't really have flowing water to start on this one. So that's going to be one of our early challenges. First things first, we are going to need to get a gatherer flag going for these blueberries. Very important. And then we're going to need to start chopping some trees. So to do that, we're going to want, of course, a lumberjack flag. Probably a couple of them. So we have 9 adult beavers to start with. 2 are employed here at the moment. We're going to put more in there just to help build these things quicker. I might even... Actually, let me change a key binding. Key binding for duplicate. I'm going to put that at shift. Oh, wait. It's already got some stuff. We'll just keep it there for now. All right, so they did add the duplicate feature. You can click on a building and... Did I clear the key binding by mistake? Duplicate building. I could see that I did that. I did. Now maybe we can have it C. Oh yeah, I'd never use C for that. So yeah, it'll be C for copy, V for paste. I don't know if there actually was a paste on there. Let me double check. Not really. Copy settings, okay. So yeah, we'll have it at C. So yeah, you can just click a building and copy it now. So that's awesome. We have... They're not doing anything yet? Okay, they're just building slow. Okay, so let's mark some trees for cutting. We're not gonna... We're gonna kind of grid it so that we have a chance to get some naturally populated trees. So trees in Timberborn, every day they have a chance to spawn a sapling near them if there's an open spot. So if we just kind of take some of these trees, we could get some trees replanted. But obviously we need to take enough to meet our needs, or else we're going to run into issues. So there's a lot of saplings around this one already, so it probably won't spawn another one. Something like this. It's a little bit more time consuming, but resources are scarce to start with. Really kind of gotta stretch them a little bit if you can. So there we have that. So one thing we're gonna want fairly soon is to get stairs so we can get up to these other pines. Dead trees are kind of free to grab. No problem getting dead trees because they won't spawn a new one, a sapling. So we also want a watering hole. By that I do mean the water pump here. Delete that road. All right. Deep water pump for Ironteeth. So this water seep, it has a constant pressure, but it will never fill above 0.6, which is below what a dam blocks. Dams block up to 0.65. So even if you build a dam over here, it will never... Wow, did I build all of those facing the wrong way? I did. It will never overfill that dam. So you can't really... It's kind of hard to pressurize these, so you can't really use them for power or for a lot of water storage, but they are good that they will never give you flood issues, and unfortunately during a bad tide they do turn to bad water. Yeah, that's just kind of how those work. Yeah, there we go. Now I have that facing the right direction. Okay, and that should be enough. So this is going to have one worker. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9 with that. Okay, I'm not going to worry about building storage right away for logs because, well, quite frankly, we don't need to worry too much about that. Because we're going to be using most of our logs as we get them. We are going to want storage for water, however. That's going to be very important. Let's put some storage here. One nice thing about this map is with this water seep, you don't need to build a dam along a river to hold that water. You already have water secured here. Even once the drought starts, this will stop producing, but this water won't flow away. So that's very helpful. I'm going to actually copy this one and put it over there instead, so that we can have our second deep water pump there. Okay, we're also going to need to get food going. We got the most basic food in our berries, and that's well and dandy, but we're going to need better food. More food. There's only so many berries, and we need them for our breeding pods on Ironteeth. Which we probably want to build one breeding pod just to not run out of beavers, because they will eventually die of old age. Let's get our farmhouse in. We'll put it right... That looks like a fine spot. And we'll get some kohlrabi planted. Maybe about that much for now. Okay, so now we really need logs. Let's bump up the play speed. I am going to bump up the working hours a little bit to just have them work a little bit more for the time being. Okay, over here, this natural staircase is actually going to be nice because we're only going to need one set of stairs to get to these pines. And we do have access to the geothermal engines as Ironteeth too. Okay, that's good to know. Geothermal engines will only show up if your map has geothermal vents. These relics are something you can demolish to just grant instant science, so that will be also, of course, very helpful. We have bad water sources that are dormant at the moment. So at a certain point, it's going to alert us that that source is going to become active. And you can see where that water will go. And eventually, it'll have to fill up and then it'll flow off here. Okay. I don't think it's going to fill up this section before it drops here. What is this? This is at 18. So that is lower than a lot of the other stuff. Oh. We do have some underground tunnels here to worry about, though. We'll have to be careful. Once we get an alert that a bad water source is going to become active, then we'll go ahead and evaluate what that will mean once that becomes active. So yeah, if we can build some stairs up here, that's a lot more oaks here for our... Jeez, we're already thirsty? Go get a drink. Oaks for wood. Each of these are worth 8 logs. So that'll be very helpful. We are going to want to start getting a inventor going. I'm going to build it kind of out of the way here. Actually, I want that flipped the other way. No sense having the door further from our settlement. So let's go like that. Because we're going to need to start getting some science. Do these have anything in range? They don't. So that's the problem with the checkerboard. We already harvested all of that, and we're out of logs now. So let's go ahead and expand our road here. But with those saplings, we can't even really get much further. Yeah. So we'll build another one of those there. But let's delete this one. Let's mark a few more of these for cutting, I guess. We're going to need... Let's mark quite a few of them for cutting. Just to keep these beavers busy. Something like that. Because we're going to need the wood. What? Okay, and that needs unemployed beavers to fill it up with nutrients. So now we have that. Probably don't need 3 in here, to be honest. We're full on our water storage as well. I'll build another pump here. Because this doesn't produce when it's full, if you're not taking water out of it, you're basically missing out on potential water. So we can do something like that. Copy that. Oh, facing the wrong direction. Copy that and do something like that. Copy settings. There. Now it will automatically hold water. Okay, we got enough logs for that now. I'm more worried about getting stairs than I am getting... We got homeless beavers, and that shelter is a -3 well-being. But I'm more concerned about getting stairs to get access to these logs over here than I am at building houses at the moment. That's a lot of logs. 40 logs for a barracks. And we just don't have a whole lot of those to spare right now. All right, so we're going to bump this down to... we're just going to pause it temporarily and utilize those workers elsewhere. Let's actually pause that too. We need this to be a higher priority being built. We're running out of logs still. You know, just to maybe reach some more of them, maybe I build a path around it the other direction. Couldn't hurt. Copy that one and put it over here. We don't need two of them over there with how little is actually marked for cutting. Okay, we got the inventor going. So we need to get stairs, which requires 70 science, but it also requires 4 planks to build. So we need to get our lumber mill up and running, which requires power. Well, the only power, we can't utilize the water wheels because we don't have any flowing water on the map right now. So our options are to try to unlock these geothermal engines and utilize that, or use this large power wheel, also known as the wheel of shared shame. And that's probably what we're going to do to start with, to provide power intermittently to our lumber mill. I do think we're going to put it over here. We also need a forester. Forester requires 7 planks, and it lets us plant our own trees. We might actually rush towards that instead. It does require less science. I am noticing we have unemployed beavers, though, so let's utilize them in more inventor huts. We got some hungry beavers, too, it would appear. Okay, we are going to put this one to workplace priority low. That way, beavers don't go into there right away when we're short beavers. Just put it at a lower priority. We got all these blueberries harvested, so we can actually probably pause this gatherer flag for now. I wonder if we plant more kohlrabis for just the time being and unpause this, since we have some workers that aren't doing anything. The other option would be, of course, to build like another lumberjack flag. That's also a very good option. Okay, we got the inventor huts being worked. Drought is approaching, so we want as much water stored up as we can during that drought. We don't really have all that much stored up at the moment. How many logs does a small tank take again? 15. That's quite a number, actually. And the inventor takes 12. So a small storage takes more than an inventor. Let's get that another inventor hut going. And probably another small tank as well. Yes, that'll eat up a lot of our resources, but I think it's necessary to get these science. Okay, looking at the science, we have these science now to unlock our forester. We just need 7 planks as well. So let's get our lumber mill going. And our wheel of shared shame. So this takes 50 logs. That's quite a bit. It's unfortunate that we don't have access to the compact water wheel at all. But yeah, that's just how it's going to have to be. And then we need to get that forester going basically ASAP. Okay, we do have some blueberries to pick here, so we're going to have to do that. All right, and we need beavers to work here as well. All right, you're not doing anything at the moment. I think we see the light at the end of the tunnel for the forester, so we're going to go ahead and just mark all these for cutting. It's just if we didn't get to that forester in time, it would be nice to have a few extra saplings spawn. We just need to actually build the forester, basically. We need the logs to build the lumber mill and the large power wheel. We actually probably could use more beavers in the district center being a builders. There we go. All right. We got one hungry beaver actually, and that's putting our average well-being down pretty much. Tolerable, but it's not ideal. Okay, so yeah, this just needs power at this point. There are no blueberries to harvest, so we can pause that again. We do have food again in the form of kohlrabies. Still need more logs here. That's okay. We're only going to have one workforce there once it's built. And it does look like all of the trees that are in range of this one is pretty much harvested. Almost, anyway. Drought has started. Okay, so we pumped out as much water as we could. It is important to keep pumping and to get this full because water evaporates in this game, but it does not evaporate when it is in the tanks, when it's in storage. So getting that storage available is going to be crucial. Okay, so we'll put those at higher priority. At least this one doesn't have much in range at all, so we're probably going to end up pausing that one, I think. Okay, we need to make 7 planks. All right. There's 5 of them here, and there's 5. Okay, so we got actually enough. Let's pause that and see if, yeah, okay, we have enough planks. Excellent. Okay, so now we don't need to run that at this exact moment. What we do need is to run this forester. So since we're having a little bit of log issues right now, the most efficient for logs per day growing is by far oaks. Birches are really fast, but they're really inefficient. You only get 1 log per 7 days. Pines are a little better at 2 logs per 12 days, which equates to 6 days per log. So we are going to, just to help with our immediate need, we're going to plant a few birches. We're going to plant a few pines to be our medium source of logs, but we're also going to plant some oaks for the future. Go like that. We are going to mark all of that for cutting right away so that we don't forget. We did have a beaver be born. Probably actually want to pause that. We don't need more mouths to feed at the moment. I was planning on getting it close and then pausing it. So let's just get the berries there. Because we need an unemployed beaver to do that. Oh, we don't have the berries. We need to harvest the berries. Okay, now that we have some berries, we can unpause that. Okay. We're still low on berries. Once this gets close to being done, I will pause it again. Looks like we already possibly don't have enough farmers to keep up with our demand of crops being harvested. So let's build another farmhouse. Let's just put it at 1 worker, though. Okay. Sweet. With that amount of science, we can definitely unlock stairs. Which are going to be very handy for getting up here. We'll just need 4 more planks. Not a huge deal. Drought's only lasting 1 more day. We have plenty of water still in here, and we have plenty of water in storage still. So we're doing a-okay when it comes to water. So I'm glad to see that. We are kind of approaching storage limits on logs. So since this is going to be where we are growing most of our trees, and this is kind of our start of our industrial sector over here, I'm going to put a log storage right here. Interesting. C is still turning 90 degrees, even though I changed it to that other one. It didn't remove that. We just have to clear it. I never use the rotate camera 90 degrees. I just drag. So we can get rid of those. That's fine. I was going to see, however, if we can copy. Looks like we cannot just copy a plant. Like, we have an area marked to plant for oaks. We can't just copy that into other areas, it looks like. So we got some more trees coming in. These birches will grow up very quickly and end up being useful for us. Drought has ended. Our water seep is producing water again. Producing water to fill this up to that 0.6 level. Let's unpause this. You know what? Maybe I won't pause that breeding pod when it comes time. I think we actually just kind of need to keep the beaver population going up slowly but surely. What we should do, however, green halted, you need berries again. Okay. Cool. Probably is time to build that housing. Get our barracks built. Doesn't require 40 logs, but we're doing okay on logs. And getting some beavers housed to get rid of that homeless penalty will be very beneficial. Because we want to increase their well-being, because well-being does increase their working speed, movement speed, and life expectancy. So very important things, very helpful things. The first breakpoint is at 2 well-being. That gives you 5% movement speed. And that just speeds up everything, basically. Working speed has to do with like when they're actually at their location, like at this kohlrabi and they're harvesting it, that increases the speed at which that bar is filled and how fast it is done here. Life expectancy just... Oh, excuse the yawn. Life expectancy just, of course, increases how long they live. And if you are reproducing beavers at the same speed in these breeding pods, because this is the only way that Ironteeth can produce, is these breeding pods. Folktails will reproduce naturally to fill up empty spaces in housing. Ironteeth need these breeding pods. If you increase the life expectancy and keep the same number of breeding pods, your beavers are living longer. Thus, you have more beavers born per each beaver's lifespan. So your population will increase just by increasing life expectancy, assuming you don't reduce your number of breeding pods. Bad water source, 9 days. Okay. So this one is going to turn on in 9 days. And let's evaluate exactly where that water is going to go. So let's keep things on pause. Bad water. For those of you new to the channel or new to the game, bad water is bad. If your beavers swim in it, they have a chance to become contaminated. And then they don't work, but they still eat, so they just become a drain on your colony until you have the ability to cure them, which is much later in the game. It also does something similar to the irrigation that the good water over here does, and that is it contaminates the ground, and that will kill crops and trees very quickly. So you don't want bad water even near where you're trying to grow stuff. So the bad water source, this one is going to fill up until it reaches this level. Then it's going to flow here, flow down here. It's going to flow both of these ways. Let's take a look at the right path first. We hold down Alt and hit the middle mouse button. It zooms us to that level. Okay, so that's going to go over here. Over here. Okay, so that's where it will stay unless... Let's see where it goes over here. If it doesn't have an outlet off the map, then... Okay, it does. So it does have an outlet off the map, so that will flow off the map before it has a chance to fill this entirely up and get above this next level. So that the bad water is just basically going to go out here, fill up this area to this point, contaminate a lot of this ground, and then go this way and contaminate this ground, and then finally flow off. Where was it flowing off the map? I thought I saw it flowing off the map. I hope I did. Bad water source. This way. This way. That way. Yeah, it flows off the map right there. Okay, yep. Right there it is. Okay. Simple enough. Let's go ahead. We are short on workers. This building is understaffed, but that's why we put it at low priority. We could use some more here. Yeah, we just need more workforce, kind of. It'll come, it'll come. We are filling up on our kohlrabis, so we really probably should make some storage for them. It's nice to have the storage for food near your houses. We can go right there. And we'll set that to kohlrabis. Perfect. Our berries are full of storage, so we can pause that because we already have our 20 berries. And I don't want to invest the logs to build berry storage at this exact moment. So that bad water source isn't actually going to hurt us. It's just going to potentially cause issues later. Nothing sending a bad water source right into our colony at this moment. The challenge that bad water source poses is basically... can mark all that for cutting. Is basically just how to get rid of that contaminated ground at this point, so that when we are expanding to that area, it's possible to grow trees and crops there. All right. So I really think this guy's not doing much. We can pause that. We do want to build a few more planks. I want 4 more planks so that we can build a stairs to access all of this other wood up here. Okay, we got the planks. We can pause these two. And go to pathing. There's... Why not right there? Okay. And that will enable us to put another lumberjack flag up here and just mark all of this for cutting. And these dead oaks, there's a lot of logs available right there. So that is awesome. Drought is approaching in 3 days. We are pretty full up on water. Not too terribly worried about that at this exact moment. I say we can build this other deep water pump. So one of the next goals I think we're going to have is to try to unlock these medium tanks. We have the science for it, but we also need 20 gears. So we need to go to wood here and look at the gear workshop as well. That requires 100. But we actually do have the science for it. It's just requires a lot of planks to build, and so does the medium tank. But the medium tank stores 300 water, but only takes up a 4x4, a 2x2 spot. So it takes up 4 times the amount of space as the small tank, but stores 10 times the water. So that will be very nice to have. I think that's where we're going to go next with it. Or, what does the geothermal plant require? Geothermal engine requires a lot of planks and logs to build, but it does make it so that we don't have to have this large power wheel manned. So it saves us labor. Maybe we go that first and then the medium thing. I'm kind of leaning that way, actually. For that to make sense, we are going to have to copy and make a plank storage, and then we have to turn these on again. What are we missing? Probably can turn this one back off, pause it, so we have somebody making planks. These trees are all planted. Means we can almost turn off this forester for the time being, just to save some labor. The only thing is we want them to plant these oaks here. So after they plant those oaks, we'll probably pause it. Keep it going for now. Not building a lot, so we can take some out of our workshop here, our district center, sorry. All right. Are any of these gonna, these are almost done, but they're not harvested quite yet. So this actually doesn't have anything to plant. I'm gonna pause it again. Kind of micromanage for the time being. We do have this automation again that might be worth getting into once we have gears. Some of it could be pretty useful. We'll take a look at that. I mean, it's all useful, but it's how early on is the usefulness of it worth the cost of investing in it. That's kind of what needs to be examined. That's right. They have a chance at chipped teeth when they're chomping away at stuff. So really, we're going to want to make this, where is it? Well-being, and build a teeth grindstone. That will help with any chipped teeth that they get. It might be worth trying to get our well-being up to that 5 more consistently. We got the shelter at the moment. Hunger, thirst, and kohlrabi's is worth 1. Is there any short, quick decorations that we could build to help with this? We come with shrubs unlocked. I thought we had to unlock that for some reason. Guess not. We build a shrub here. That will provide an aesthetic bonus. While that charges their aesthetic bonus, that's how they work. As they're in range of it, it charges it, including when they're sleeping. Since all of our beavers sleep here, those will all get that aesthetic bonus of a shrub, so +1. So that gets us closer to the next tier of life expectancy. And if we just build a lantern as well, perhaps up here, which would be difficult to reach at this moment, but there's potential there. There is definitely potential. Or rather, we already have campfires unlocked. It would make very much so sense to just build a campfire to help with our well-being. Doesn't take that many logs. We can get to that 7 and increase their life expectancy, and it will be chef's kiss. Okay, we need to look at our power again. We have enough planks for a geothermal engine. So let's unlock that so we don't have to have beavers working this large power wheel in order to produce planks. So with that, we're probably going to move our industrial sector up there, and that's fine. So we're going to want our industrial lumber mill right there. And we can probably go ahead and unlock that gear workshop too, actually, and put it right next to it. This will be priority. And we can then delete these two to get some of those resources back. Looking at our food stores, we're doing okay. Yeah, new well-being high score. That's what we like to see. Maybe unpause that. Oh, we got some birches to plant, so let's unpause the forester as well. So you do need to connect your power consumers with your power producers, and that can be done either by putting them right next to each other, that transfers the power through, or you can build these power shafts, and that just helps transfer power long distances. You also have the option for vertical power shafts that can be built on top of each other, and that way you can go up different levels. Like I could go up here and up and over and connect that geothermal field to it as well. All right, we have our pines coming in now over here. We can probably just delete that one, and this one doesn't have much. Just has a few pines. I guess the pines are almost done, so we'll keep the beaver in there because they'll harvest it here shortly. These, at least this one. This one's almost done. Probably after they harvest this one, we'll pause it for a little bit because these have a little longer to wait. So we can utilize him to go into the inventor hut and make some logs in the meantime. Oh, we did not pause these. That's fine. No available workers, though. Interesting. Drought is currently in progress. We're doing fine on water, fine on food. Pretty much everything's looking a-okay. So now that should hopefully put something, yep, and put a beaver into our industrial lumber mill over here, so that we can produce some more planks, because we are going to need planks. To get up to this area, we need to use the stairs, but we're actually going to need a little bit more than stairs. We need stairs and platforms. That way we have something to build our second set of stairs up to get up there. Like so. Ooh, excuse the yawn. All right. It's just kind of nice that those geothermal engines just produce power nonstop, night and day, without any input resources and without any labor. So Ironteeth do have access to these steam engines. They were previously called just engines. Now they're steam engines because they need to be distinguished from the geothermal engines. And they use logs and water to produce power. Yeah. So these are free after your initial build. Oh, and that little nut icon there, bolt icon, bolt and nut, that's a bolt. It doesn't actually look like it has a nut on it right now. That is the new metal parts resource that the Ironteeth have access to. Right here, they're made in that metal smith. And they take logs and scrap and make them into metal parts. So Ironteeth now have access to the scavenger flag off right away. We don't have to unlock it separately because metal parts become needed quicker. Which, looking at this, we might want to actually consider building a path up to that scrap right there. Possibly start making some metal parts here soon. I do think that our log emergency is kind of past. So I'm going to clear the planting area of these birches at least and replace those with oaks when they are harvested. Also looks like we could use more storage. For logs specifically. I think we're actually just going to delete this pile over here. We are running low on berries. Let's turn that forager back on, the gatherer flag. And we can also turn this one back on to harvest these last two pines over here and then delete them. All in all, I think we're doing very well. We just need to get our population up some more, and that will help with us increasing our life expectancy. I don't think we actually need these two lumberjack legs over here at the moment. We seem to be harvesting the trees plenty fast enough. So instead, I'm going to move one of them over here in order to start harvesting these dead pines up here. Okay. Because once we can't walk past, well, we can walk past it, but we can't build on this dead pine here. But now we have access to the top of these barracks. And what that allows us to do is we can put decorations right on top of them, as well as these rooftop terraces that will help with our well-being quite a bit as well. So if we can get to the next breakpoint, I believe it is... yeah, it's 10 for another 20% working speed. So that will help us be more efficient as well once we get there. All right, we're not building anything. Let's reduce that one, and maybe that'll put a... where does that put that beaver now? I don't know where it's working. Oh my gosh. That pine tree that we hadn't harvested actually planted a seedling. Huh. Interesting. So some buildings are understaffed. Not terribly surprising. Yeah, we did, the beavers are dying of old age and we're not replacing them fast enough. I think we need another breeding pod, actually. I also think we planted too much kohlrabi. Because our storage is full again. And I think we can actually just pause this one, even though we're not keeping up with the harvest of the kohlrabi. I don't think we really need to because our storage is full. So that'll free up a laborer to go elsewhere. I'm gonna put this down to just one beaver working in the industrial lumber mill so that we can get this gear workshop getting us some gears in the meantime. Again, we're kind of aiming towards that medium tank. It does need 20 gears. The gear workshop itself can only hold 10 gears, and it makes one plank into one gear. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need gear storage now. Gears are not stored in large industrial piles. They are in warehouses. So we'll go like that. Let's plant more of these as oaks. Oh, this one's not even manned at the moment. Okay. We're not building anything at this exact moment. Let's pause that. Let's just get our beavers spread out a little bit more to do some more other jobs. Like making gears. Because once we have 20 gears, we can very safely go ahead and make our medium tank. I think we're going to go ahead and unlock that now so we don't forget. We can even just place it right there. Let's see. A roof is cheap, and you only need a 1x1 roof to get the full benefit of it. For aesthetics, you can definitely do these other ones. But for the aesthetic bonus, the 1.0 one works just as well as the 1x1 works just as well as the other ones. So that'll increase our well-being by 1. And if we then put a lantern also up here, we need 100 more science points. Okay, fair enough. That'll increase it by another 1. Alright, this is just waiting on the planks and gears. Well, actually, we don't have any builders right now. We took all of them out of here. We have to adjust that, actually. I think it's about time we have some storage for berries so that we can have a little bit more of a buffer. Because berries are absolutely needed by Ironteeth in order to produce more beavers. They can also be eaten in an emergency for food, but unlike other types of food, they only fulfill hunger. They don't also give a nutrition bonus, and those nutrition bonuses give wellness bonuses. So if the beaver's just hungry, blueberries can keep them alive. I guess technically just berries, but they're pretty obviously blueberries. But they won't give them any bonuses. So you have to get more food variety in order to get higher well-being and take advantage of these bonuses of work speed, movement speed, and life expectancy. We probably really should have looked at when that bad water came online, and it did exactly what we... It did not do exactly what we thought it would, actually. No, yeah, it did. There's the level that it couldn't get above here because it's blowing off the map here. Another bad water source. We didn't notice this. This one's coming online in 3 days. Let's take a look at this before we carry on. Okay, there's no holes in this wall. It's not going down elsewhere, so it's going to flow this way. And then this way. And then it won't get over here. It's going to go this way. And it's going to go into here. And then it should just flow off the map. Yeah, that shouldn't cause any issues over here either. So that's fine. There's another bad water source here. And this one... it's quite interesting, actually. That one might cause some issues. In fact, it 100% will cause some issues. This will keep filling up until it gets here. We basically have to demolish these natural dams here in order for the bad water to then go this way. And where does it go from there? Then now let it flow off the map. If we don't do that, it will back up this way and go up another tile, which will allow it to go up here and out here. So, before this bad water source becomes active, we have to open up these natural dams. Well, wait, actually, these are natural dams, not blockages. So after it gets above 0.65 on here, it will flow out. So then it can't get above this. Okay, but it will actually at the same rate go this way and then just flow off the map. Okay, that's no problem. So only if it builds up enough pressure here to get above this does that become an issue. Okay. No good selected. This is done. Water. Fortunately, the drought just started, so that's a little, of course, like I just said, unfortunate, but it is what it is. We do have these breeding pods going, and they're going quite nicely. I think having another one would not be a bad idea at all. We're getting some planks and some gears built up. We have plenty of kohlrabies. Actually, droughts are getting longer. Let's evaluate how we're actually doing on food and water, for that matter. Each beaver roughly consumes 2 food and 2 water per day. It's not exact, but it's a good estimate. So, with 150 water, if we had no more ability to pump water, that would last. Well, we have 13 beavers. So we're consuming 26 water a day. So that would last us, what, about 6 days, roughly? But we do have water being pumped, so we're actually looking better than that. Same with food. So the drought lasted 7 days. Oh, excuse me. Not a huge deal. We actually have enough food to survive the current droughts, but they're going to keep getting longer. And if we end up having to pump enough water out of here to dry up this seep during the drought, that will cause issues. Obviously because we can't pump more water, but also because our crops will lose irrigation. So we're going to have to address that little fact as well. We have this aquifer over here, an ancient drill that will make this start producing water. So we might be able to find a way to utilize that, potentially, to keep our crops irrigated. But right now, it's just going to flow down here and basically then go off the map. Some of it will try to go here, but it'll stop at these blockages. And even if we open that up, it's not really irrigating a lot more. We would have to build some dams to some levees to change its direction, really, to utilize that. So we're not quite there yet. Go back to our decorations and get those lanterns that we were trying to utilize last time. Let's build that up there now. Yeah, our beaver population is definitely going down, and it's definitely a problem. I would like these breeding pods separated a little bit more than they are, just so we don't have all the beavers born at the same time and thus dying at roughly the same time. I'm going to pause this one momentarily to let this one go beyond it a little bit. So we are definitely going to have to start thinking about how are we going to keep our crops irrigated during longer droughts where we can't pump this water. Because, and even if we stop pumping, it will last longer if we're not pumping, but it will eventually just evaporate as well. So yeah, we are going to definitely have to figure out how we want to utilize this aquifer. Unfortunately, these do produce, once we activate the drill and we've tapped into the aquifer, it does produce bad water during a bad tide as well. So, whoa. This will also produce bad water during a bad tide. And we can officially get bad tides now. So we're going to have to think about bad tide prevention. Interesting. So yeah, we're definitely going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to put our mind to that. I think with this water seep, if we got a bad tide, okay. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to have to build some levee, go down here and build some levees that surround it. And with one of them having a floodgate that we can adjust up and down to let the water out if need be. Or keep it in if need be. Default out, but during a bad tide, we want to shut it off. And we'll probably then also get a... Oh, contamination sensors require metal blocks. We're nowhere near metal blocks at the moment. So we might just have to rely on, say, we could utilize a lever, but they're not much easier than just manually adjusting it when the bad tide comes. I guess we could. Is there a weather one? I know there is, but how hard is it to get? Even harder than the contamination meter sensor. The weather station requires treated planks, which is even further down the line than metal blocks, because you need metal blocks. Actually, you don't need metal blocks to build the wood workshop. It's just a different kind of technology tree. But it's a lot of technology. Oh, excuse me. We are going to have to evaluate that. Kind of think about which way we want to go with that. Okay, number crunchers require metal parts. Trying to look at what else requires metal parts. Steam engine, so if we wanted to utilize those, we would need the metal smiths. One thing I forgot to show in my automation showcases the clutch, which acts as a power transmission that can be turned on and off. It's a power shaft that can be turned on and off and set up to the automation signals. So that's important. I think it's kind of a lot of the some of the various like aesthetics here require metal parts, it looks like. And the monuments. Yeah, like the Flame of Unity requires metal parts. Maybe some of these well-being buildings do too. Yep, an exercise plaza does. That looks like it for that. Not a whole lot of things require the metal parts, but some do. I'm guessing maybe some of these aquifer stuff. Nope, the drills don't either. Or the deep bad water pump does. Okay. Sorry I kept that pause for so long. Yeah, we definitely are going to want to think about our bad tide prevention situation. So we're gonna need levees. So we need more science. We have a lot of resources available to us at the moment. Like, we have a lot of planks, I guess is what I'm saying. So I think we try to get up here and get to this that just grants us 200 free science by investing some planks into stairs and platforms. So then that will give us 200 free science, and that will help us. Yeah, we got ahead of ourselves. We weren't thinking about the bad tide diversion. Oh, this is done. We can delete that. All right. Are there any other relics that are fairly easily accessible? Holy crap, we're over an hour too. So yeah, we're gonna invest these resources to get in that relic for science, and that will be part of our plan to handle it if a bad tide comes. That's the short story. We do need levies for that. But yeah, we are going to address a potential bad tide next episode. On hard mode, I believe on cycle 4, you can start getting bad tides. There's a chance. So we do have a little bit of time, but not much. Not much at all. So we are going to have to get these levies unlocked sooner rather than later. And we need more population to work all of these things. You know what? We don't need years, and I think we have enough planks. So let's pause those. Plant those as oaks before I forget. Okay, anyway. Yeah, we're going to end this episode here. If you enjoyed this episode and you watched the whole thing, thank you so much. I know it was a little longer than I intended. I apologize about that. But if you did like it, make sure to leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't. My goal is usually to release 2 or 3 of these videos a week. And yeah, I play other games too, but my main focus at the moment has been Timberborn because that is what the most people seem to be interested in watching. I do dabble in other games. I do plan to at least have 2 Timberborn videos a week. Possibly a little bit more with this 1.0 release. I might hit it a little harder. And then that other 3rd video a week might be another game. It's kind of my goal. We kind of go from there. So, yeah, again, if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, leave a comment. I love hearing from you guys. Let me know if you guys have any other thoughts on how we should deal with this bad water situation. I'm thinking just surround this by levees and maybe have a floodgate that lets it out for, and have a floodgate that lets it out for, what's the word I'm looking for the temperate cycle. But we are going to have to then find a way to get rid of this bad water. And without a bad water pump, that might prove challenging. But at very least, that will keep the bad water away from our crops for the time being. I'm going to have to think about that one a little bit more. But yeah, leave comments, suggestions, and anything you want to see, anything I'm doing terribly wrong, let me know. And I will see you guys next time.